Alright guys, Hazink here, welcome back to the channel for another Damian Saga video. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Look, my pronunciation's shocking. If any of you guys read that word and know exactly how to pronounce it, let me know. I think it says Damian Saga or Damian Saga. Maybe that's why the game's not so popular, because the bloody name's so hard to pronounce. Anyway, I said that if I enjoyed the game, I was going to make content on it. Views are not necessarily something that drives what I put on the channel, and hey, I think this game's awesome, so I'm going to cover it, right? I'm having a lot of fun with it. I think it's a lot better than many idle games, and I say that with a 100% degree of sincerity, right? I think it's got a lot of kind of quirks and differences to it that make it different from the likes of AFK Arena and stuff like that. And the thing is, a lot of idle games just pretty much copy AFK Arena, so it's kind of refreshing to see something that's a little bit different, right? I'm going to go over some of those things in this video, which is probably going to be a bit of a better introduction to the game than the last one that I kind of looked at it. Talk about why I like some of the systems and stuff, and then from there we'll start putting out videos about team builds, characters that are good, and that type of stuff, right? So you can obviously see at the back we've got plenty of waifus in this game, but I would not just call this a waifu collector. I mean, a lot of waifu collectors are very surface level. I think this game has got a certain degree of depth to it that makes it pretty interesting and pretty good, right? So, I mean, you can see here you've got an abundance of heroes to pick from, right? Loads of them. I'm not going to go through them all just now, right? But you've got different sets. You've got like physical damage dealers, you've got range characters, you've got magic damage dealers, you've got support characters. You've got the type of things that you would expect to allow you to build a variety of different teams, right? Obviously you do have waifus aplenty though, right? And it's just a coincidence, guys, that I've mainly built up the waifus. It's actually because the characters I've kind of focused on just now are, at least for what I'm doing, they are very good, right? So I've kind of taken what I've known from a lot of different games and applied them here, and it's paying dividends for me, right? For example, this character here, she's really, really good, right? But she's, I want to say, more of a single target attacker, right? So using her against the likes of the guild boss and stuff like that is very good for me, right? Whereas this character here and this character here are heavy damage AoE units, right? And the thing I like about this game is when you're building your squads and when you're trying to figure out, right, who's going to work for me? When you look at their skills, it's not just a basic description. You can actually like see how the skill plays out. So you can see here that she's got a nice little shield and then she does big damage, right? And it's an AoE, so anyone within range is going to get attacked. If you look at the next one, you can see again how it's working and how it's functioning, because this game isn't linear, it's not 2D, so characters move around the battlefield, okay? So you can have some characters, for example, that pull in your units. Then, if you've got someone like this who hits AoE units, like we just seen there, you've pulled them together so that she can smash them. So you can build a lot of teams using, I want to say, strategy, you know? I've gone mainly with AoE attackers because, let's be honest, when you're doing stages, that's what you need. You need to do AoE attacks to clear off stages as quickly as possible. Now, this unit here doesn't have as many AoE attacks. One of the reasons I really went for her is because she's got a really badass move. This one here, she just puts her thing back, she just slowly and casually walks along the battlefield and she just blasts someone right in the face. For me, that's awesome, right? I like that, I thought it was pretty cool. So it's one of the reasons I've got her on my squad. But you've got the tools where you yourself can build really good teams, which is important for this game. And I say that because it doesn't have a large presence on the likes of YouTube and stuff. So if you are a player who is looking for team builds and stuff, you won't have the same range of resources. Well, you will in future because I'm going to do it, right? But you don't have the same range of resources for team building, who's the best unit and all the rest of it. So you need to experiment. You need to find these things out for yourself, which is what I've been doing. And it's fun. I'm having fun doing it, right? And again, I feel like if you've played idle games before, or even if you've played RPG games before, you quickly get to grips with team building, right? Now, like all idle titles, you've got two options when it comes to progression. Take your time, and build up resources through doing stages, through claiming your AFK rewards, or you can pay. That's normal. The only difference between those two is speed. Everyone will get there, okay? If you're doing it idly, it'll take you a bit longer. If you're paying, you'll get there a bit faster. But if you are paying, there's going to come a point where you're going to have to keep paying, or else you are going to have to idle to wait for rewards and stuff. So the experience is the same for everyone. The only difference is people who spend a lot of money hit a wall faster, and it takes them longer to then get what they need from idle rewards. So all I would say is, treat it like any other idle game. Do what you do, push on. If you hit a wall, fine, just wait. Get your idle rewards and push on the next day. Now, I've not hit walls yet, right? Because there's lots to do. That's what I'm going to say. So when we go in here, you can see there's loads of different modes, right? You've got your tower mode, which you would expect, you beat wave upon wave of enemy. The higher you go, the higher it gets. But while you're pushing on, you're going to get more and more rewards as a result. Nothing uncommon there. This one pretty much appears in every idle game I've ever played, right? There's not any originality with this one, right? Next one, treasure map. This one is pretty good. With this one, you get various different maps. You can notice there that each map has got a symbol. Those symbols refer to the classes or the factions within the game. Clearing through these will give you shards towards getting characters within those factions. So it's a good free-to-play way for you to earn some new characters within the game. And you can see here, the heroes within the factions change. So if the day that you go in, it's not a unit that you want, okay, so right now I actually would take her, okay, because she's really good and I want to get a dupe of her. I would do that today. Whereas if I look along here, that's not a character that I want right now. I would rather get dupes for this guy. So if I just wait, I can see that on Monday, he's going to be back. So I can just build up my treasure map fragments and I can smash it on Monday and get as many of his parts as possible. I think that's really good. It's a good way for free-to-play players to pick up extra copies of units or brand new copies of units that might help them with their progression. Fantastic. I wish more games would do something like that, okay? Now, rapport map is something else. It's stages where you kind of build up a rapport level which gives you a currency, and you can use that in a different part of the game that I'll show you in a minute, right? You've also got this mode, Pirate Dice. I don't really know how to describe this other than you kind of move along a board with dice rolls. Sometimes you'll just get bonuses, like you'll gain money, you'll lose money, you'll gain strength. And then occasionally, depending on the dice roll, you will have to do a fight and then you move on. And I mean, there's not really much to describe. I mean, you get good bonuses, you get free rewards, you get ways to progress your squad. Sometimes you don't fight all that often, so I don't think you could really compare it to something like if you're playing Street Fighter, Shadow City. It's nothing like that. It's something altogether different, but it's an interesting mode. Again, it's something else to sink your teeth into, and you've got various different difficulty levels that you can challenge, which I also find to be pretty good. You then get Fractured Night. Fractured Night is allowing you to kind of move up this difficulty tree, and each time you beat a stage, you get the type of rewards that will help you progress your account, okay? Like EXP and stuff like that. Each day, you can do what's called Vanquish, and Vanquish will reissue the rewards, basically. So this is something that you can do daily to progress your account, level your characters, and ultimately beat more content. Expedition is missions. It's send your characters out in missions, get a bunch of rewards. Pretty standard. Arena, same thing. You know what Arena is. PvP. Go in, fight other teams, get a bunch of rewards. I don't really need to show you that, because if you've played any games like this before, you know what these things are. So we'll come out. Then you've got crew. Seems like there's a lot here. Don't let that put you off. It's actually very straightforward. They've just taken a lot of things that some games will squash into one setting and can sometimes confuse you, and they've just split it up to make it a bit easier to digest. So you've got achievements, obviously rewards for achieving various things within game. You've got team composition. Team composition, I'll go ahead and explain that in a minute, but here is where you can level up your team composition, and depending on what strategy you're running, you'll get more bonuses if you've leveled it up, essentially, right? But we'll cover that off in a second. Ascension is basically where you use dupes. Take your dupes, combine them, raise up the rarity of a unit. Simple. Dismiss is oftentimes within the Ascension tab of a lot of games, but with these games you have a system like this where you only level 5 characters. Once those 5 characters are at a certain level, whatever the lowest level of your 5 characters is will apply to every unit that you apply within this section, okay? Now I'm not far enough on yet to know. Some games do away with this section and they apply it to your entire box. Don't know yet if that's the way it's going to be. I'll find out as I progress, okay? Now, if we look on here, you've got Chronicle. This is basically a system where you can level up each individual unit type and they will get a boost to all their stats, okay? Again, if you've played an AFK game before, or an idle game, sorry, you'll be used to that. You'll know what that is. Memorial Park, this is where you use your rapport, okay? So you can collect rapport from in here, you can collect tokens in here that will help you do various things, whether it be buy from certain shops. This here, these little tokens, they will help you boost up characters' individual, I don't know if you call them achievements or something, but it's like they'll give them additional crit defense, crit attack, all that type of stuff, right? You can also build more of these, but you need to get rapport levels up with specific characters, and then once you've done that, you've got the option of applying these. I think I can do it yet. Yeah, I can't do it yet. Things like this, right? And you can see here that they'll give you bonuses, right? So you get ones that will give you crit rate, all the rest of it. It's just a way for you to passively make yourself stronger. Simple, easy, loads of things to do. Now, from there, you've also got your adventure mode, plenty of ways to do gameplay, push on, get more rewards, get stronger. Then you've got this Night Realm. I am currently not pushing this just yet, I'm going to push this later on, but I'm going to use this to show you what I was saying about the strategies you can employ, right? So when you go into a team, you've got a couple of different options. You can click here and you can choose your formation type, right? So you can see here you've got attack increase rate, backline accuracy, next one frontline movement speed, backline critical rate, blah blah blah. So you can see them, right? One I quite like to go with is depends on what I'm doing, right? But if I'm using multiple ranged units, I go with this top one. So here you can see on my backline I've got a healer, right, which is this unit at the top up here. In the middle I've got a magic user who's, I guess she's a DPS character, and at the bottom I've got the same, right? And at the front I've got a tank and I've got a DPS character. However, I'm going to take one of those DPS characters away. I'm going to take her away because I think she functions better for single target units. And I'm going to use this unit here because she does really well when it comes to mobs dealing with AoE units. So at the back I've got my ranged units, they've got their accuracy increased, and then at the front I've got my DPS units, okay? So we've got the back line both supporting and doing damage, and we've got a front line out there dishing out damage. Now that's not going to work for every fight. The game gives you the options though. You can change that formation, then you can change your builds. Your builds will function differently, allowing you to beat more content. I like that. I just think it gives you a different dynamic that you don't always get in games like this. A lot of them, it's just build your team, right? Sure, some teams you need to mix up, but it doesn't give you that little extra element of what bonuses you're going to get for how you actually position your team on the field and stuff like that. So again, this is just another mode you can push through to get yourself loads of rewards. It also has little mini games, which is good as well because it's something that I liked about AFK Arena. These are new, these refresh all the time. It's just a way for you to get some easy rewards that's going to help you push your account and get more character growth, which ultimately will allow you to beat more content at the end of the day. Final thing, your guilds. We've all got guilds. I deliberately left one of these. Fight your union boss, which is this here. Now this is a 1 unit, so because it's a 1 unit, like I already said, got a slightly different team build, and it saves this, right? You don't need to worry about changing it all the time. You can actually save your loadouts if you want, so you don't need to fuss with it constantly. Because this is a single unit, I am going to use that DPS character that I took off the last time. and I'm going to leave her on here just now. I'm going to change this team somewhat because I want to try out a new unit on here to see how they get on, and I'm going to go with this guy here. He's pretty good, does a lot of damage, he's got a lot of crit and stuff like that. Want to see how he goes. I'm still at the stage of trying to find out what works best. I think I'm going to need another healer, but I've not decided yet which healer is going to be best suited to me. I think she's pretty good, the one at the bottom down here, but I think having one at the top, one at the bottom would probably function better, right? But we'll see here just now. So if I go back, I can see if I was to hit quick battle, my best score is 51, right? So if I take that away, I could just take that, right? So if we go back in now, we've got that change in place. The score of 51 was not made with this team. So basically, if this team scores higher than 51, that was a good change. If it doesn't, I made a mistake. So let's see, will it perform better than 51, right? So you can fly through here. It's obviously on auto. You can do it manually if you want. It allows you to use your skills, how you want to use them. Some of them are like area of attack, some of them are like cone of attack, some of them are AoE but within a certain range. So there's a bit of variation of how it works, and how you basically time your attacks and use your attacks will dictate the flow of battle basically. I can't be bothered with all that right now, so I'm doing it on auto, right? But we'll see here how I got on. So I think I'm just trying to beat a score of 51. Everyone's still alive right now. We've got 1 minute and 19 seconds left. We're up to 36. 37. I think this might actually be a better scoring run. We'll see just now. We're up to 39, 40. Now, like most guild bosses, you get lots of things like equipment. Equipment will help you get stronger. If you're stronger, you beat more content. Fairly straightforward, fairly standard stuff, right? But again, I just feel like there's enough differences within this that makes it appealing. The story's quite decent as well. I never even touched on that, but the story is quite decent as well. I won't spoil that. I'll let you guys kind of go through that yourself if you're someone who is interested in the story of games. But this game has actually got a decent wee story to it, and if you do enjoy reading them, then it's not one of those weird ones that seem like they've been machine translated or something. Right, we've already beaten the score, so this team was definitely better. That unit at the back has obviously contributed a good bit of damage, but I think he's about to die. Unless the healer pops in, nah, he's dead, right? So we're down to 1, but we are significantly further on. We're up to 55, and we've got 16 seconds left. Most of the team is still alive. The back line is still doing its thing. We're up to 57. The 2 DPSs at the front are still going. The healer's just giving them more heals. We're up to 58. Bit more damage, bit more damage. Can we get to 59? Yes, we got to 59. Significantly improved just by changing that one unit. So the game encourages experimentation, you know. All the units were at the same level. I actually might have took off a unit that had a higher level, I'm not sure. But you can see that you can have fun experimenting. And I like that. I like it. The game is also very good at giving you things that some games kind of lock off behind VIP level and stuff. It gives you it right away. Like if we're going to adventure, if I hit prepare, now I'll be honest, right, I need to work on my team. I've hit a point where I'm not necessarily instantly 3-starring things all the time, but if I move my head here, no, it's not my head, move my head across, see that button auto battle? That's just basically auto progress. Once this battle's defeated, it'll automatically do the next one and it'll push on. Some games like actually hide that from you until a good bit further into the game. This just lets you have it right away. It doesn't gate it behind any progress, it doesn't gate it behind account, level progression or spending. You've just got access to it straight away, so if you want to push on and grind as much as possible, immediately it's available to you, which makes things a little bit less tedious when you're at a lower level, but you're stronger, so you're just wanting to push on to the point where you need to start thinking about stuff. Then that auto progress is an absolute godsend. People who have played AFK Arena and stuff will tell you, you don't unlock that until way into the game. But when you do unlock it, it's an absolute godsend, right? But this gives you it pretty much right away. So, Damian Saga, I'm really enjoying it. I'm going to really start to focus on good character builds, who I think is the best characters in the game, stuff like that, who's going to help you push content, how you beat certain content. I like this. I think it's fun. I think it's refreshing and different. It is ultimately still an idle game, so you know there's going to come a point where I'm going to hit a wall. It's going to take me a lot of time to progress, but as long as they continue to add activities, modes, and different things like that, I'm going to keep covering it. Anyway guys, I've been Hazing. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.